Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly realized everyone you love is secretly planning to destroy your life? Because that's exactly what happened to me. One evening, I walked into my dining room and saw my entire family sitting around the table. They were having a meeting about kicking me out of my own house. And the most ridiculous part, they had no idea the house belonged to me. But before I tell you what happened, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this prove one thing. Sometimes the people who betray you the most are the ones sitting at your own dinner table. Now let me tell you what really happened. My name is Lena. I'm 26 years old. And for as long as I can remember, my family treated me like I didn't matter. My older brother Ryan was the golden child. If Ryan broke something, it was an accident. If I broke something, it was my fault. Ryan got a new car when he turned 18. I got a lecture about responsibility. Ryan dropped out of college. My parents said he was finding himself, but when I worked 2 jobs to pay for my own university, they said I was being dramatic. Still, I kept going because I had a dream. One day, I wanted to build a life where no one could control me again. When I was 23, something unexpected happened. My grandmother passed away. She was the only person in my family who ever truly believed in me. Everyone assumed she would leave her house to my parents, but she didn't. She left it to me. When the lawyer read the will, my parents looked shocked. Ryan looked furious. But my grandmother had left a letter, and in it she wrote, "Lena is strong enough to stand on her own. This house is her future." At the time, I didn't want conflict. So I made a mistake. I let my family move into the house with me. At first, everything seemed fine, but slowly, things started changing. My mom began making rules. "Lena, don't sit there, that's Ryan's seat." "Lena, why don't you cook tonight?" "Lena, can you clean the kitchen?" Meanwhile, Ryan didn't work. He spent most of his time playing video games. But somehow, I was still treated like the useless one. I paid the bills, I paid the taxes, I paid for repairs. Yet my parents behaved like the house belonged to them, and I stayed quiet because I still hoped one day they would respect me. I was wrong. One evening, I came home from work earlier than usual. The house felt strangely quiet. But then I heard voices coming from the dining room, my parents, Ryan, and my aunt. They were all sitting around the table, having a meeting about me. My mom sighed. "We need to talk about Lena," Ryan laughed. "She's 26 and still living here." "That's embarrassing," my aunt added. "She's clearly not responsible enough to live with us." Then my dad said something that made my heart stop. "I think it's time we ask Lena to leave. Leave the house." The house I owned. My hands started shaking. But instead of crying, I walked into the room. Everyone looked up. Ryan rolled his eyes. "Oh, great, the problem just walked in." My mom crossed her arms. "Lena, we were discussing something important." I nodded calmly. "I know." My dad cleared his throat. "We think it's time for you to move out," Ryan smirked. "You need to grow up." For a moment, no one spoke. Then I smiled and asked one simple question. Light confident, "Move out of whose house?" They looked confused. "My house," my mom said. "Obviously." So I slowly took a folder from my bag. Inside were the legal documents. I placed them on the table and said something they would never forget. "This house belongs to me." My dad laughed nervously. "Don't joke about that." I pushed the papers closer. "Read them. His face slowly turned pale. My mom grabbed the documents. Ryan leaned over her shoulder. And then their expressions changed. Shock, confusion, anger, because the paper clearly said, Owner, Lena Carter. Ryan slammed his hand on the table. You tricked us. I shook my head. I didn't trick anyone. My grandmother left it to me. My mom looked furious. But we're your family. I nodded. Yes. And you just tried to throw me out. The room became very quiet. Then I stood up and said the words I had waited years to say. If anyone is leaving this house, it won't be me. Ryan stood up angrily. You wouldn't dare. I looked straight at him. Try me. 2 weeks later, my parents and Ryan packed their things and moved out. For the first time in my life, the house felt peaceful. That experience taught me something important. Family isn't about blood. It's about respect. And sometimes, the people who hurt you the most are the ones who expect the most from you. Today, I still live in my grandmother's house, but now it finally feels like home. Because the people who tried to take it from me are no longer here. If your family tried to kick you out of your own house, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, please like the video, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because the next story might be even more shocking. See you in the next video.